Hey guys, it's Lakeisha Sheree Jordan, and I just wanted to encourage you guys as always, but I want you guys to keep in mind that, the same way we go and we work out physically to make sure that we're physically fit, a lot of times we're not thinking about the fact that working out is not just about what's here, what this physical is doing. Some of you guys actually understand what it feels like to make sure you're financially fit. It's the same way that you're thinking, well, I gotta be mentally fit. But I want you guys to understand that being fit in communication is about way more than just these physical things. It's about actually being able to understand what other people are saying, not in their words, but also their body language, what is going on around you, some of the things that may actually contribute to some of the things that are triggered inside of you. Communication fitness is about being fit in communication on every level. And although that may seem like, oh, that's really not a big deal, as I tell you guys all the time, everything that we do in life is about how we are communicating. First starting with us and then other people. I don't know how many times, me personally, I've gone through life and allowed people to convince me outside of what was actually true. And this is normal for so many of us. I remember personally being in a poor marriage and not recognizing that I was being emotionally and mentally manipulated simply by constantly being badgered with the idea that I didn't want my children to end up in a, like with parents separated, or oh well, your kids are not gonna have a mom and dad together like you did. And these things really played on me. The problem was I was not communicating well with myself to even recognize that it didn't matter what that situation was. The idea was to understand how important it was to be away from toxic situations. So I'm telling myself, because I'm hearing this, yes, I definitely don't want my kids to be in a broken home. I didn't get married to get a divorce. And, I'm going through this list of things. My communication with myself was insane. It was just as toxic as the relationship was. And so I convinced myself to stay for years and continue to pull myself further and further into a depression. So I want you guys to understand that even in that instinct, it wasn't until I stopped and I said, wait a minute, this isn't making sense. Because am I really supposed to stay in a toxic relationship, constantly be depressed, constantly start drinking just to go to sleep at night? You know what I mean? Because I don't want to hear this. I don't want to function in this household. In order for me to keep my kids with me and their dad, for me to not have to get divorced? Or do I want my peace? And that's where it changed. Me determining, yes, my peace was more valuable than not making the same mistakes that I guess my parents made. And what does that even mean, guys? Because as we're growing, many times when we don't have the skill to communicate with ourselves in a productive manner, there is no way we're going to be making all the right choices. That's just logic. Every solitary thing about our communication as we are growing is about what was poured into us. And I don't know about you guys, but I am the first to admit that the initial pouring of my skills was very toxic. So what did I have to do? I had to stop pouring that nonsense out. But first I had to recognize that, yeah, I had some issues. I had some problems. And it wasn't until I was completely honest with myself that it was a lot easier to start getting rid of that yuck and start allowing myself to pour into me communication that was actually healthy. No, your sanity and your peace is way more valuable than sticking in a toxic relationship. These are the things that sometimes we don't tell ourselves. There's people right now that's in a relationship because they're like, what am I going to do if he leaves me? He pays all the bills, he does this, he does that. I am a witness to what life looks like losing someone, physically losing someone that had me covered. That person will never come back. I can't bring them back. I can't bring back the finances they brought in or anything. And you know what? I had to keep pushing. That was the truth. And for everyone that has this set mentality of communication that states, I have to stay because he's paying all the bills. If he or she was no longer around, you would have to keep fighting Allow yourself to shut out that communication that says, I have to stick in this because, and start saying, if they didn't exist, I'd have to move forward. And this is what Communication Fitness is all about. This is what ComFit Academy is all about. Helping you guys to understand that we have many ways that we communicate with ourselves in either productive manners or unhealthy manners. But every solitary thing that we are communicating with ourselves and others is going to always dictate the outcome of our circumstances. So I want you guys to keep that in mind, and I want you to stay encouraged. Is your communication fit? You want to check in with yourself. Is your communication fit? Are you telling yourself things that consistently tie you to toxic behaviors, toxic people, toxic environments? Or are you telling yourself the truth? Are you really happy and proud to be able to say, yes, my communication is absolutely fit? I love you guys, and I look forward to checking in with you in the future. You all take care and have a great day.